from Minerva. So today I'm here to talk you through the latest issue of Fibremood magazine. Now, in case you haven't come across them before, Fibremood launched throughout the year different magazines that all contain a collection of sewing patterns. So this particular edition is the spring edition, and it includes 12 sewing patterns, which there's actually, between those patterns, there's actually 29 different variations. So it's a fantastic value magazine. You know, if you like, you know, even just a couple of the different patterns from it, then it's fantastic value. If you like more than that, then it's, you know, it's really great value. But as with magazines, you know, often, especially when you're buying online, you know, it can be sometimes a little bit difficult to know what you're getting inside. So I thought in today's video it would be a good idea to run through all the different 12 patterns with you, so you can see, you know, exactly the patterns that you're getting in the magazine. And I've picked some of my top fabric picks for each pattern to give you some idea on the sorts of fabrics that you could sew them in from our collection here at Minerva. So before we get started, like I said, there's 12 patterns in the magazine and 29 variations in total, and at the beginning of the magazine is all the photography of all the different patterns that are included. And then when you get to the middle of the magazine, this is where the actual pattern sheets are. So you can see here, these are all the pattern sheets. Now the patterns are overlapped on these sheets, so you do need to trace them. You can't just cut them out as they are, because they are overlapped. And the products I would recommend for doing that is this product, which is called Pattern Trace, and it's a Swedish tracing paper. It's 1 metre wide on the roll, and you get 10 metres on the roll, and it's made here in the UK. And it's an absolutely fantastic product for tracing sewing patterns. So we do lots of different types of tracing options here at Minerva, but this is just my personal favourite. So it's like between a paper and a fabric, really, and it's very durable. So unlike you know, normal tracing paper or tissue paper, this stuff doesn't tear easily at all. It's really resilient, and obviously it's sheer as well as see-through, so you can see through it to be able to trace. So it really just gives you like the best, you know, the best of both worlds with this stuff. So if you're new to tracing, I definitely recommend this as an investment. And the other thing to note with patterns from Fibremood, whether that's the magazines or the PDF or paper patterns, they don't include seam allowances, so you will need to add that to the pattern when you cut them out. Now, if you've never done that before or you're not sure how to do it, Jo from our team here at Minerva, who, if you might know Jo from some of the fantastic sew along videos that we share, she's also doing a range of learn to sew videos, and one of those videos is going to be about how to add seam allowance to patterns. So don't worry if you've never done that before. Jo will be there to hold your hand throughout the process, and you know, it's a new technique there for you to learn. If that video isn't live already, we'll be putting it live very soon. So then after the actual pattern sheets, you then get to the actual instructions in the magazine. So it shows you how to use the magazine, and then each individual pattern has its own set of instructions and measurements, body measurements, things like that. In terms of sizing, so in all the patterns in this magazine cover sizes extra small to XXXL. And that in UK sizes is a 4 to 32, and in European sizes that's a 32 to a 60. So in terms of centimetres for bust, waist and hips, that is, so the bust is from 76 centimetres to 146 centimetres, waist is from 66 to 133.5 centimetres, and hips is from 86 centimetres to 145 centimetres. So hopefully you know, that'll be helpful in terms of you know, letting you know the size ranges that's included in the patterns. So let's get stuck in. Let's have a look at the 12 patterns that are included. There's some really good ones in here, and I've really enjoyed picking out these fabrics to show you, you know, just to give you some ideas on the sort of fabrics I think would be really good for these patterns. So the first pattern we're looking at is Gabriella, which is this waistcoat which, as you can see here, is made in a pre-quilted knit fabric, and I think it does look really lovely in this fabric, which is definitely what's inspired my fabric choice today. And you can see another couple of versions here, again both made in pre-quilted fabrics, and hopefully you'll be able to see the line drawing there at the bottom that shows the shape of this pattern. So it's like a rounded neck waistcoat, sleeveless, with patch pockets on the front, and it has some tie details, which is how it fastens up the front. So the cream version in the pre-quilted fabric that they've made in the photography here is actually made from a pre-quilted knit fabric. Now we actually do a pre-quilted knit fabric on the site, which is very similar, and I thought this would be really lovely. And I chose this ivory shade because I was totally inspired by the photography in the magazine, but it does come in loads of different colours. This is a Minerva core range, so we stock it all the time in lots of colours. And it's a nice weighty fabric, is this one, that comes from that pre-quiltedness. So it has like a backing layer, a front layer, and then almost like a spongy layer in the middle that are all quilted together with this beautiful like geometric triangle design. Because it's a knit, it does have some stretch, not a huge amount, but it does have some stretch, so that's going to make it really comfortable and cosy to wear. But yeah, it has enough weight, you know, to hold the shape of that garment. I think that would be really lovely. You know, quilted fabrics are so on trend right now. I think that would be, yeah, a winning combination. So the next pattern we have is the Lennox dress. So as you can see, this one has pleated details on the skirt, it has a button fasten up detail, a turn up detail on the cuffs, and a very simple round neckline. And I think this version looks particularly lovely, made in a cotton gauze, a double cotton gauze fabric. That colour is so pretty. I think just, you know, in a plain fabric like that, it really showcases the details of the pattern. Yeah, and I think a double gauze as well would really, it would hold the shape of the pleats in the skirt and, you know, really make a statement and a feature out of them, just as it shows there. So I've chosen our double cotton gauze fabric in this really pretty salmon colour, which, as you can see, is, you know, it's practically identical to the version that they've made in the magazine here. It's just so similar. Could be the same fabric. But again, this is another Minerva core range fabric. We've stocked this double gauze for years and years. It's such beautiful quality, and that gorgeous sort of crinkly texture in it, it just adds something, I think, to the fabric. But yeah, it comes in loads of different colours, so if this salmon pink colour isn't for you, there's lots of different options. But I think that would be so pretty for spring and summer, and in that dress, yeah, that'd be just a perfect pattern and fabric pairing. So the next pattern in the book is the Harper. Now this is a top pattern that has, it's a really interesting pattern, this one. I'll just show you this view to start with, so you can see it made in this textured blue crinkle fabric here. And then if I show you on the next page, you can see the line drawing there. So it has this seam detail that runs across the front and the back of the bodice, and it goes into the sleeve. And then throughout that whole seam detail, it has gathers that run into it from the top. So it's going to create beautiful volume, and it's all about that gather detail. You know, otherwise it's a very simple neckline, a straight hem. It looks like quite a crop style, which, you know, you could lengthen if you wanted to. Yeah, really, really lovely, and all about that gather. So the fabric that I chose is our Meets Milk Sabre Sheer Tencel and Viscose blend, and this is the colour Lapis. So it's a really beautiful blue colour that has almost like a hint of purple in it. That's how my eye sees this colour. And you know, if you hold it up to the light, you can see certain parts of this check design that are woven into the fabric are ever so slightly sheer, and other parts are a lot more solid. So it's a really interesting fabric, and that the check is actually woven into the fabric, it's not printed on. With it being tencel, it's beautifully soft, oh, it feels just, oh, it feels incredible. It's so beautiful against your skin. So I think in a top this would be really lovely. And I think the combination of drape and structure that this fabric has, with it being only a lightweight fabric as well, will hold those gathers and will really make a feature of them on the garment. They'll sit beautifully. And I think with it being, again, this very subtle check design, it's going to be just a little bit different than, you know, just sewing it in just a plain fabric. But it's, you know, it's not too over the top, and it's not going to take away from that wonderful detail that, you know, you'll want to shine through the garment. So yeah, I think that'd be really lovely. And again, that one comes in a few different colourways as well. So the next pattern rather in the magazine is the Judy dress. So this is actually the one that's shown on the front cover, and possibly my favourite pattern. I think this is going to be so popular. This might be, you know, like the winner from the magazine, and I guess my Fibremood probably think the same with having put it on the front cover as well. So you can see it made up here in this beautiful pale yellow fabric. So it has a shaped seam at the waistline and a gathered skirt into that seam, and then a very simple bodice with a round neckline and those really big puff sleeves that come into a little cuff detail. Quite simple in lots of ways and understated, but it's that sleeve and that ruffle detail into that waist seam, I think, are just magic. There's something about this pattern, I think, and it's just going to be, it's so on trend, it's going to be so popular. And this pattern here, sorry, the same pattern, but that's a different view, so you can see it made up in a different fabric there, and also the line drawing there as well. So even though the views in the magazine show it made up in quite a structured fabric, you know, which you could certainly do. For example, you could sew it in the cotton gauze, you could sew it in this one, you know, anything with a little bit more structure. But I've actually chosen a soft and drapey fabric because it is a very oversized style is this one. You know, it's designed to sit away from the body. So I think something with softness and drape will just hang and drape beautifully, and it'll swish and move as you walk. I think that would be so lovely. And the fabric I've chose, so it's a Minerva exclusive design, and this is the print is called Serene Meadow, which I think you can see why we've named it that. The colours are beautifully serene, soft, muted, understated, very natural and earthy kind of tones. And the print, I think it's a beautiful scale print, this one. You know, the flowers and the leaves and the shapes are all quite simplistic in design, quite minimalist. It's just, oh, it's absolutely beautiful. And I think for that sort of shape dress, oh, I just think that would be absolutely a winning combination. I think that would be perfect. And I really hope someone makes that, because I think it would just be beautiful. So the next pattern we've got, so this is the carrier shirt. So this one, at first glance, you know, is quite a simple shirt pattern. But what makes this pattern is, and you'll be able to see it here on this view, is the sleeve. It's such a full sleeve that comes into a deep cuff. It's fabulous. For me, this pattern is all about that sleeve. It has, you know, a typical shirt collar. It has a patch pocket at the breast, button-up detail at the front. But yeah, it is all about that sleeve. You can see another couple of versions sewn up here, and the line drawing. Really, really beautiful. Now, I think with this pattern, you want a fabric that has enough structure and weight to hold a crisp point in the collar, crisp points on that pocket, the detail of the cuff, but you need something with enough drape so that the fullness of that sleeve will hang really well and come into that cuff detail really well and not be too bulky around the cuff. So the fabric that I've chose is this beautiful meat milk crispy crepe fabric, it's called, the name. There we are, and this beautiful sort of like ochre mustard colour. Now this is a blend of, I think it's 86% tencel and 14% polyester, and you can just feel the, you know, the amount of tencel in there. It is so soft, it's beautiful. But it does have, you know, when you think of a crepe textured fabric, that's exactly what this fabric has. It has that crepey sort of texture, but it is quite lightweight. So it does have some, you know, some weight, but can you see how it drapes there? So I think that would be beautiful for that sleeve. It's going to hang really well, but there's enough body and sort of substance to the fabric that's going to hold that collar, the pocket, the button details, the cuff. Yeah, I think it's the ideal, you know, midway point between sort of structure and drape. As you can see as well, it has a sort of like washed, almost like lived in, antique almost kind of look to this fabric, which I think again just makes it a little bit more interesting than just a solid fabric, and it will just wash and wear beautifully over time, will that one. And again, that one does come in quite a lot of colours as well from Meat Milk. So the next pattern is called Drea, and this is fabulous. So this is a trench coat style which they've made here in a denim fabric. And oh, this is my other absolute favourite in the magazine. You look at here, there's so many details on this pattern. It has a belt tie, buttons up the front, patch pockets, a fabulous collar, beautiful sleeves that go into a cuff. I love the length of it. Oh, it's just a wonderful pattern. It's obviously going to be, you know, an investment in time is this one, but I think that would just be the most amazing coat to be able to pull out of your wardrobe and feel so proud that you've made it. I think this will be a wonderful pattern to make. Now, I am very inspired by the view in the magazine. I've chose our so this is a 330 GSM heavy, rigid, non-stretch denim. So when it's called rigid, it doesn't mean that it's stiff and rigid. It means that it's a non-stretch denim. So there is no stretch in this denim at all, not even a comfort stretch. But as you can see, it is still, you know, quite malleable and soft, even though it's, you know, it's a heavy denim. So I thought that would be lovely for this style of pattern because, you know, it has quite a full sleeve. So in my mind, you wouldn't want anything too structured and stiff because that sleeve wouldn't hang well then. Something with a softness like this, it's just gonna, oh yeah, it would be perfect, I think, for that sleeve. But it's still heavy enough, you know, to hold the collar details, all those pockets, the belt. I think this is the perfect denim for this pattern. It has a beautiful, you know, that twill weave that you have with denim, which, oh yeah, I just think would be absolutely lovely. And this is, you know, like a soft mid blue, which is very similar to the version in the pattern, but it does come in other colourways as well, other shades of blue and more grey colour in that one. So you have a few options there. So next up we have the amber top, which you can see a view of here. Now it's quite a simple top with a collar detail and a button placket at the neckline. And other than that, it's quite a very, you know, it's a simple, boxy, quite straight fitted top. Now the version that they've made in here is in a rib knit fabric. And the versions they've made here, which this is the page with the line drawing on, so you'll be able to see how boxy it is there as well. So on this side they've made it in a textured jacquard fabric, and on this version here again it's in a stretched jacquard fabric. And on the next page you'll see they've actually made it in a viscose fabric, which I like the idea of this fabric, of making it in a viscose, something soft and drapey, because I think it will feel like a blouse then and feel a little bit you know, more dressed up and elevated, but still something you could wear every day. And yeah, for me, the boxiness of that style, if you made that in something soft and drapey, that's just going to hang and drape really lovely, and that would certainly be my choice for this pattern anyway. So the fabric I've chose is this fabulous Minerva exclusive viscose chalet, and this one is called Painter's Patchwork. That's the name of the design, and as you can see, it really is it is, as it says on the tin, it's a patchwork effect of all these different squares and triangles and geometric shapes. But each of those shapes, you know, it's not a solid block colour. It looks like they've been crayoned in, and there's layers of colour in each of these squares. When you look at the detail in this print, it's just, like you can see here, this one little square here, the layers of colour and texture and mark making. It's just absolutely wonderful. We worked with a European artist on this one to create this design, and I just think it's magical, this print. The colour and the richness and the depth and the, just the amount of dimension in all those layers. It's absolutely stunning. And why I chose this particular print is, obviously this print is very square because of the nature of the design. It's very geometric. So I think for the boxy shape of that top, it suits it perfectly. It will make it easy from like a pattern matching point of view on the side seams if you decided to do that, and yeah, it would just really, the boxiness of this print would suit the boxiness of the style, and with that beautiful drape and fluidity and movement that this fabric has, it would just, I think it would be such a wonderful piece to wear, just every day or dress it up. That would be, I think that would be beautiful. That's another of my favourites actually. For a daytime kind of garment, that's one of the easier projects. That's probably my favourite from the magazine. So the next pattern we've got is the Bernie trousers. Now there's a couple of different options with these, and if I hold that up, hopefully you'll be able to see the line drawing there and the two options. So these have been made in a denim, and this version here look like they've been made in a cotton, a cotton twill fabric. Now I think they look great in the denim, but I was really inspired by this version here. I think it looks amazing how she's wearing it with just a simple plain black top and a little plain black sort of like a belt tie detail with that green coat as well. That's gorgeous. But yeah, I loved the colour of these trousers, like I said, worn with the black top. So we have practically the same colour in our cotton twill fabric. So this is 100% cotton twill, and this is the rust colourway, which isn't that just such a gorgeous colour, so on trend right now. And I think even though it's it's a bold colour in some ways, it's just a bit different, isn't it, to just wearing, black and navy and the colours that I think lots of us just revert to for trousers all the time. So this will be a little bit different, but it's still, it's still really wearable, and I think it will go with loads of things in your wardrobe. Yeah, I think rust is such a great colour to wear all year round as well. So that would be my pick for those trousers. Next up we have, so this is the Fenner skirt. Now this is again another really interesting pattern, which if you have a look at the line drawing there, to me it's almost as if the pattern has been designed to look as if you've got a pair of trousers that you've upcycled, a pair of jean trousers that you've upcycled and created into a skirt. If you can see what I mean with that front section, and how those panels, it's sort of like a panel effect that overlaps, that then creates a gap at the bottom of the skirt. That's just the what I thought of straight away when I looked at it. So let me know in the comments, do you get that sort of vibe from the pattern as well? But yeah, it's a really interesting skirt. So it has a waistband and then an extra seam detail under the waistband, which is really interesting. Creates a beautiful detail. It has a zip and a button fastening. It has pockets with a slanted pocket, which are really lovely. Belt loops on the waistband, patch pockets on the back, and then really the main focus of this pattern is that beautiful shape at the front, and then how it crosses over and then creates this gap, sort of like very wide split at the front of the skirt. Now I thought it looked great both in what looks like a twill, like a cotton twill type fabric here, and then the denim version here. So if you wanted to create, again, in the cotton twill, again, that fabric that I just showed you for the last one would be really lovely in this as well. But I was quite inspired by the denim version here. I think that looks really lovely. So I've chose our yarn dyed stretch denim for this one, and this beautiful gold colour. It's a really sort of old gold, ochre, mustardy kind of shade. And so this is a yarn dye denim, so it's really beautiful quality. It's a little bit lighter in weight than the last denim that we looked at. This one is only 255 GSM, so it's still a weighty denim, but it's, you know, it's just not as heavy as the last one. And it has that little bit of stretch, so, you know, it's like a comfort stretch really. It's not, you know, nothing anywhere near as stretchy as what you would find in like a jersey fabric or something like that. This is just a comfort stretch, so still absolutely suitable for this pattern, and it will just make achieving a great fit a little bit easier, and it will just, you know, give you that little bit of comfort as you're wearing the garment, a little bit of wiggle room. I think it's an ideal weight and structure, this garment. I think you need something with structure to really hold the shape of that skirt, especially where the slit is at the front. So yeah, I think this will be perfect, and it does come in lots of different colours. There's some more traditional colours like blue and grey for denim, but there's also, you know, some brighter colours as well, and I thought this one would be really lovely for spring, summer, I mean all year round really. Such a gorgeous colour, that one. So the next pattern that I've got to share with you, so this is the Eve dress. So this is a showstopper of a dress, and you'll see what I mean when you see the images. Isn't that just, oh, it's wonderful. It's a full length maxi dress. It's very full, but in a way it's, you know, it's very simple. So it has these gathered details which run along the front and the back. If I show you the next page, yeah, you'll be able to see there. So there's one layer of gathering on the back of the dress and 2 layers on the front of the dress. So it almost creates these like gathers that run all the way down the front and the back that then go into a very full skirt. So you have a lot of fabric in this one, and I think it's to me that's crying out to be made in, you know, a show-stopping, quite large scale print. I think that would just be gorgeous, and it, you know, it's quite a simple design really, but very, very effective. So I've definitely chose a show-stopping print, and this is another Minerva exclusive in our viscose chalet, and this one is called Abstract Marbling, which you will see why. But isn't that just the most phenomenally designer looking, in your face, bold, colourful, graphic, just the most stunning print. It really is a showstopper, this one. If you have a look, if you click on this fabric that we'll tag below and have a look at what some of the Minerva community have been making in this fabric, honestly, you'll be so inspired. There's some absolutely gorgeous makes that have been made in it, and they really do just have a designer look in this fabric. It's such a bold print. So I think with this pattern, so because, you know, it's such, you know, it's a maxi length, you'd really be able to show off this print. And because of the style, you know, because of the lines in the sort of like the diamond shape in this print, you know, you might think, oh, I need to pattern match it, but I really don't think there would be much pattern matching at all with this, because the gathers that run along the front of the bodice and the back would distort the print. So you might want to consider, you know, pattern matching or placement down the side seams, but that really is all, because where the shoulder seam comes in, it's like a raglan sleeve. Again, because it's going into an area that's already gathered and distorted anyway, I don't think I certainly wouldn't be pattern matching any of that. And you know, that's quite simply it, just the sleeves and the front and the back. So yeah, I just think this pattern is made for a print like this. Something bold and beautiful and stunning. I think that would be gorgeous to wear on a summer holiday, you know, around the beach, around the pool, going for a meal at night and a few drinks, feeling super soft and breezy. It's such a breathable fabric, it would swish in the breeze. Oh, that would just be amazing. So the last pattern in the book, so we're on the 12th pattern now, and this is sorry, not the last pattern, the 11th pattern we're on now, so the next to last. So this is the Kaya dress. So this one is a V neckline dress, and it's like an A-line sort of shape, so a very simple style really. You can see this one here, they've made in like a textured rib. and here they've made a version here in a pre-quilted fabric, and a version here, this is made in a jacquard. So all of them, the fabrics they've used, have some structure, and I definitely think you need a fabric that has structure with this, because you want to hold the shape of that A-line. I think that would make, would make the most of this pattern, and would look then more like this, it would look like the garments that are made here, because these have been done in a structured fabric. So the fabric I've chose for this, so this is our meat milk, another meat milk fabric, and this is the Canna seersucker fabric, and it's a blend of tencel and cotton, and this is the blush colourway. Let's just hold that out there. So if you can see, I mean, it has incredible texture, does this fabric. If you look really close, it sort of has like a little check design woven into it, but it's certainly, you're not going to be needing to pattern match at all. It really is such a small sort of check weave that it just becomes an all over pattern, and it just has the most wonderful texture and crispness, does this fabric. Now you can see when I hold it up, it has maybe a little bit of drape, but it certainly holds its shape, does this fabric. And I just think a textured fabric like this is gonna, it's just gonna be a little bit more interesting, and yeah, it will be I guess a plain garment that will go with loads of things in your wardrobe. Like, it shows it layered up over sweaters and tops, so I think it would go with lots of things in your wardrobe, but it's still, it's still got a little bit of interest and something a little bit different. The nature of this fabric gives it a little bit of stretch. Again, it's not a stretch like you get in knit fabric, it's just more of a comfort stretch, so it's going to make it even more comfortable to wear. This, like I say, is the blush pink colour, which is, I think, super pretty, but it comes in all different colours on the site as well, so there's lots of options in that one. And then we're on to the last of the 12 patterns in the book, and this is the indie top or sweater pattern, and for me this is all about those glorious sleeves on this pattern. So if you look at the line drawing, you'll see that the sleeves come down like quite far onto the actual garment, so they're a massive sleeve, really full, and then those sleeves come into a cuff detail, and then the whole garment gathers into a band around the waist as well. So it's quite an oversized look that, I think requires a drapey fabric, but it needs something with a little bit of weight to retain that feel of a sweatshirt or a sweater top. So the fabric I've chose, which I think is perfect for this pattern, is our Minerva exclusive sweater knit fabric. So this is a knit fabric that has a good amount of weight and body. It's not super thick, but it's, it's thicker than, say, a jersey, like a cotton or a viscose jersey. It's similar in weight, I would say, to like a French terry type fabric. It has that kind of feel. But unlike a French terry, this has, you can see the drape in this fabric. So that's just going to hang beautifully on those sleeves, but still have the weight and thickness that I think you need for a sweater style like this. So yeah, it's finding that balance of a fabric for this pattern that has softness but also has the weight and body and thickness of a knit, which this is just perfect for it. This is, the print is called Animal Song, and I really love this design. I think the colours in it are so beautiful, and it really shows off that melange thread in the background of this fabric that gives it a really subtle, almost tweedy sort of look. Really, really lovely, and I thought the scale of this print makes it perfect for a top as well, because it's not too big of a scale. You're really going to showcase that design, and yeah, I just think that would be a wonderful fabric for this pattern. So that's all 12 sewing patterns I've run through with you. So I hope you found that interesting and that it was a useful video, to really showcase what you're getting in this magazine, the spring issue from Fibremood. There's loads of great patterns in there, isn't there? I'd love to hear from you in the comments which was your favourite pattern from the magazine. Like I say, I think I've got 3 favourites, and you know, with the price of the magazine, even if you just like 1 or 2 of the patterns, it's still great value. If you like more than that, then you know, even better. So yeah, we have this in stock now at Minerva, and I will tag the magazine and all these fabrics that I've mentioned below the video on Minerva, so you can just click onto those links and explore more, find out all the details, the prices and everything of all the fabrics in the magazine. And as always with Minerva, if you're a member of our club, then you'll be able to save 10% off everything on site. How it works is when you join our Minerva Craft Club, from the date you join for a full 12 months, you'll get 10% off everything on site. So that's everything in the video I've mentioned today, all our fabrics, patterns, haberdashery, everything on the site. And you can use that discount on top of any coupons or offers that we've got running, and if there's any sale prices already on the site, the discount will be on top of that, so you're always saving extra by being part of the craft club. And of course we offer free worldwide delivery options as well. So thank you very much for watching today. I hope that was useful, I hope it was inspiring. Let me know, like I say, which was your favourite pattern and fabric. Do please give us a like and a follow if you enjoyed the video, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time.